Greetings. Once again, it's your boy Cypher Da MC, host of the Into the Cypher podcast. Oh yeah, how you doing today? Or this evening, or whenever you're listening to this podcast. Hopefully you are having a blessed day so far. Hopefully you had a great weekend. I know it's always too short, right? It is always too short. And that's why I'm going to run for president, and I'm going to lengthen weekends to at least 4 days. I'm going to lengthen it for at least 4 days. So vote for me. But in order to vote for me, guess what? You have to download the podcast. You got to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Drop your likes, all that good stuff. And I got a doozy for you today. But before we get into it, of course, you know, we have to get our disclaimers out of the way. I'm not a relationship expert. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a family therapist. I don't have a master's degree or a doctorate degree from, say it with me, Harvard. I am just a regular Joe Schmo, just a regular guy, just giving you not only the benefit of some experience, but just helping us to get to a better version of ourselves by opening up our minds and basically just kind of looking at things from a different perspective. So we got to get our disclaimers out the way, and I'm going to jump right into it because you already know what the title is, but I'm going to have to definitely say it. And I also got some great news for you as well. But today's topic, 3 reasons why men don't communicate. 3 reasons why men don't communicate. Now, of course, these are just my 3 reasons. They're not in any particular order, and these are not like the top 3 or anything like that. These are just 3 reasons that I just surmised in my mind and just wanted to kind of throw it out there. One of these reasons was helped out by a fellow listener, so I appreciate her giving her feedback and everything like that. But we're going to jump right into it. Reason number 1 why men don't communicate, and women. This is mainly for you, in case you didn't know. This is mainly for you, so pay attention. Grab your notes. Get your popcorn ready. Our reason number 1, this is the first reason here, and again, in no particular order. One reason why men don't communicate is because there's a fear of having his own emotions turned back on him for making you, the woman, upset or sad. But so basically, let me give you an example of what I mean. And I'm sure every man, once they hear this, they're going to be like, oh, okay. And possibly every woman may be like, yeah, maybe I did that as well. He may express to his partner, that something was said or something was done that made him, feel, some type of way, something that he took offense to, basically. He was like, babe, I didn't like the way that this was said. I didn't like the way that this was done. I may have felt disrespected. I may have felt, however he felt. He's coming to you, the woman, his partner, and letting you know how he feels. But then what happens is he is made to feel guilty, or he feels guilty because now you're crying. The woman is crying, or she's upset, or she takes offense to what he said. She takes offense that he was offended. So now she's saying things that make him feel guilty for even coming to her in the first place. So now he feels bad and like, man, and this may not happen. I'm not just saying one time. This has to happen over, several, instances or several scenarios for him to just stop saying, you know what, I'm just not going to bring it up. I'm just going to take it on the chin. I'm going to tuck it away. I'm going to bury it. And what happens when we as men do that, because I'm not going to tell you something that I have not experienced myself. What happens when we do that? What happens when we as men do that? We push it down. We try to forget about it until something is said or done that reminds us, yeah, this is just like last time. Yeah, this is exactly what she said, or this is exactly what, what was done, or what have you. And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like, whoa, now he's being standoffish. Now he's being quiet. Now he's not being his usual, air quotes, his usual self. And the question would be, well, what's wrong? But see, now he feels like, well, I've allowed too much time to go past. I can't say, well, 6 months ago you did the exact same thing, and I tried to bring it to you, and you started crying, and you started saying this, that, and the third, or whatever the case may be, and I just felt like, okay, drop it. I don't feel like arguing. Of course, no one wants to argue, so to speak, but sometimes you have to have those hard conversations. And it doesn't matter what type of relationship you're in, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, married couple, you have to have those hard conversations. Now, granted, these are not the conversations that most people have when they first start dating. When they first start dating, or they've been together for, let's say, less than 6 months. This is not conversations that they have because, again, everyone has those representatives. Whether they are temporaries or there for a long time, depending on the circumstances or experiences that either person have had, they're there for a certain amount of time, and you have to kind of wonder, should I tell this person my pet peeves or things that I really don't like, and risk losing this person, risk not being able to talk to this person, risk not having those moments with this person, whatever they may be. And these are things that men think about as well, ladies. So I don't want you to think that most men are just thinking of trying to smack your cheeks and that's it. I've said this before and I will stand by it. Men, for the most part, they want the very same things that women want. They want to be with one person. They want to be loved. They want to be respected. They want to be appreciated. They don't want to be taken for granted. It can't just naturally be assumed that men, because they're men, that they don't have rights to have feelings. And here's what I mean by that. It's like men, for the most part, we're looked at a little bit differently. I know it's been said in many instances, and whether you agree with it or not, women are always characterized as being, they're emotional. They're emotional creatures. Whereas men, they're not viewed as emotional beings. So if you're not viewed as an emotional being, if we are not viewed as emotional beings, then that means to most people that we are devoid of having emotions, which is not true. But we are not looked at as, hey, that I can hurt his feelings. We are not looked at as if we can, if something is said to us that, we take to heart and we're like, whoa, how could she tear me down like that? How could, because we're looked at as men and we should just brush it off. We should just kind of just turn the other cheek, so to speak. We're men, we're tough. We can take it. If we get upset, we'll just go in the woods and fight a bear or tussle with a wolverine or slap box a porcupine barehanded, and everything is going to be all right. And that is just the farthest from the truth. That is just the farthest from the truth. It cannot be said more clearly that men have and have always had the ability to feel. And as one of my listeners, she said, and I bring this to light because I'm going to say the next reason is more or less going to be a 1A 1B type of reason. It's going to have they're going to be very closely related. But I want first, before I delve into that, is take this quick moment to thank each and every one of you for continuing to listen to the podcast, to download, tell your friends, share it, all that good stuff. Because I want it to be known that several weeks ago, we put into place that we now have our very first sponsor affiliate, so to speak. So we have our first sponsor affiliate, and I'm just so blessed beyond measure, because I couldn't have done it without you guys. I could not have been here without you guys. So with that being said, I definitely appreciate each and every one of you for all that you do and continue to do. So we're going to be right back after this word from our sponsor. Are you someone that is ready to strike out on their own and get their first apartment? You and your roommates are all ready and set to go to live the good life and pretty much get your life started? Or are you about to leave college and looking for a new place to live in the new city with your new degree? Well, guess what? There's a company called Credit Rent Boost that will allow you to get credit for the rent that you pay and get it reported to the credit bureaus. This will not only allow you to boost your credit, but also set you up long term, so when you are ready to make your first purchase as a homeowner. So give them a try. CreditRentBoost.com, and you can use promotion code OVM24522. It may be the best decision you ever made. And there you have it. Oh my gosh. There you have it. All right. So kind of blows me away to even have that, but I definitely, again, appreciate you guys, and we're going to continue with the show. So the very first reason, that fear that we as men cannot express ourselves without it being turned back on us, and we're made to feel guilty because now you're upset because we're upset, or we said something to upset you based on how we feel. And I really feel that needs to change. The narrative needs to change in that regards, because there are some women who do that, and that relates to accountability, and that's a totally different show that we're going to definitely go into. So, reason number 2, as far as why men don't communicate, and men have to feel safe, and I'll tell you why. Men have to feel safe because a lot of men just don't know how to communicate. They were never taught. Remember, I don't know if it was last season or a few episodes ago, I mentioned that for the most part, in a household, if you have a boy and a girl in the same household, boys are taught one thing, the girls are taught something else. Boys are not taught how to handle their feelings when they're upset. They're told what not to do. They're told not to hit. You don't hit girls. You don't hit things. You don't hit people. You don't, throw stuff. You don't do any of those things. But what is often not touched on or explained to these young men is, okay, you've told me everything I'm not supposed to do, but you're not telling me how do I handle my emotions? How do I handle my feelings? How? Like what do I do? Now you can say, well, you're supposed to talk them out. Okay, show me how to talk them out. Because it takes practice. Much of what men learn as far as relationship wise, for most men, happens after a few failed relationships. It's sad, but it's true. Many men will a lot of us did not marry our high school sweethearts or the girl from third grade or anything like that. This is not the Wonder Years. That was a great show. I missed the Wonder Years. Winnie Cooper was the bomb. But let's face it, a lot of men are not taught how to handle their emotions. So after a few failed attempts, a few failed relationships, after a few failed whatevers, marriages, I'm just putting it out there. Guess what happens? Epiphanies are had, and then all of a sudden it's a matter of, this is what I want. I want someone that values me, that will not take me for granted, that will look at me and appreciate me for who I am, not what they want me to be. But teenage Timmy is not taught this. He's taught not to do certain things. But there's still an expectation for him to still express how he feels or anything like that. When it comes to matters of the heart, for most men, it's a very touchy area. It's a very what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very hard area to really put into words. You have some men who may be romantic and write poetry, and then you have some men who can't utter two words to the woman that they like or woman that they love simply because they just don't know how. And it's very hard to do so, especially if there's not an area of trust. There's a lot of times, if again, men have failed relationships, if they've gone through the ringer, if they've had their heart broken, if they've been the one that was cheated on and manipulated and dealt with in a totally wrong way, there has to be an area of trust. He has to trust you. Ladies, he has to trust you. He has to be able to trust that he can talk to you about anything that is on his heart or in his mind. And number one, reason number one, you won't get offended and take it to offense, and there will be some accountability. That's one of the things I'm seeing lacking when it comes to most women. They don't have a sense of accountability. Like, you know what? I made you feel this way. I'm sorry. I did not know that what I said or what I did hurt you. I'm going to make sure that I don't do or say that thing again. And actually mean it. They're not just saying it to placate the man, any more so than a woman would want a man to say he's sorry just to placate her. In today's day and age, sometimes there are those moments where you have to kind of look and say, well, there's a double standard when it comes to men and women, and how something will work for one and not the other. So it's kind of, we definitely don't want that, but that's what we're here for. That's what we're working towards. Now, lastly but not least, the last reason why men don't communicate is that men generally feel that women just don't care. That's it. Point blank, period. That women just don't care. It's like, well, as long as you pay for this, as long as you do this, as long as you go here when I tell you to go here, as long as you do what I say do, your feelings really don't matter. Because they're looking at him just as a man, as what he can provide or protect or to that nature. So as long as he gives in to what she wants, he'll be considered a man. Oh, he takes great care of me. He does this, he does that. He pays for this, he pays for that. He buys this, he buys that. All the while that man is dying on the inside. He could wake up in the morning before the sun comes up, come home after the sun goes down, working hard, and there won't be anything for him to eat. There won't be an appreciation. There won't be a thank you. Do you need anything? There won't be any concern for him. Why? Because he is a man. There's this phrase that floats out there: happy wife, happy life. This kind of really, it bothers me more so because it basically leads you to believe that as long as the wife is happy, the life is happy for the man. But no one ever asks him. No one ever asks him if he's okay or how are things going with him. Because as long as he performs his duties, quote unquote, as a man, then he's always going to be looked at just as a man. He's a provider. He does this, he does that. Many men have died early deaths, working themselves to the bone or working themselves to death, both figuratively and literally, to take care of their families or take care of whoever they're with. And that's all they can actually say about him is he was a great man because he took care of his family. But was he valued? Was he cared about? Was he taken for granted? Was he appreciated? Was he, told how much he is worth to them? Because if he's working himself to the bone, then evidently that's going to take a toll on him physically. But if he is just looked at as a man that is just to provide and protect and all that sort of stuff, how is he valued as a person, as a human being? Because at what cost should we as men sacrifice, our mental or emotional well-being just to be called or viewed as a man? A woman would not be asked to do this. So why should men be asked to do this? Now, these are my my 3 reasons why men don't communicate. If you agree or disagree, definitely hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. Let me know your thoughts. Or give me your reasons why you think men don't communicate. And we'll pick this up in the next episode. I may make a part 2, not exactly sure. It depends on the feedback. But again, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Always, as always, without you, there is no me. Without the creator, there is no us. So as long as we continue to move forward and basically put our best foot forward and find our purpose and work towards our purpose, I have no doubt that each and every one of you, each and every one of us, because we're on this journey together, we're going to be able to make sure that we live our best life. So as always, before you love anyone else, you must first love yourself. And oh yeah, I'm out this thing. Cypher.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is I will not lose.
Into the Cypher with your light.